Hello everybody and welcome back to Grappler Man's videos. It's been a little bit of a time for me to be back in here, but I'm ready to rock and roll. Wrestling season's finished and the old Grappler is back in real life. So with the Thargoid Tyrannus being destroyed and the next 7 Titans on our list, I've been doing some of that Thargoid combat at the Titan sites. And I've watched videos on Fer-de-Lances and Mambas, etc. And I've seen people with large ships. And what I thought I would do, because I'm a commander that's not as experienced at AX as others, but I still want to partake. And I know there's other commanders out there just like me. The big problem is losing expensive ships every time you try to make an attempt and then getting nothing from it. So what I decided to do was come up with a build for a Viper Mark III that would do the job in these Titan sites. So I am going to show you this Viper in action. I call it the Titan Tickler, and then I'll show you the build. And then if you're like me and you're one of these commanders that likes to give it a shot and don't want to risk too much of your credits, maybe you'll consider building this Viper. Now, it's not a cheap Viper to make in terms of time and engineering. You definitely have to do some engineering for it, but overall the buyback price is less than 100,000. So it's about 107,000, I'm sorry. So we're gonna head on over to HIP 8887 and I'm gonna show you this little guy in action. Okay, so we're gonna target the next Titan, which is Li Gong. And you saw me get interdicted on the way into the system. Now that I'm in the system, I'm gonna get interdicted about 3 times. I want you to notice that the boost speed for this thing is about 565, and it will recharge the distributor about every 5 seconds. So I can sustain a pretty high speed to outrun any Thargoid interdiction on the way to the Titan. Once I get to the Titan, you'll see it's very quick trip at that speed into the center. Okay, I'm here and I am going to start and show you. This is a pretty quick trip in. I start at 12:25:54 and this is the sped up version of getting in. Now the ship is small, so it does get rocked around a little bit, but I only had 1 pulse during this trip, and the entire duration of this thing was just under 2 minutes as I finished at around 12:27:51. Now there are 7 caustic sinks on this ship and I used 3 going in, which left me 4 to get out or to use once I was inside, which is awesome. Now if you notice, my shield is at 100% and my hull is only at 99. I took 1 hit of damage because I was a little late on pulling a caustic sink, but I carry 2 repair limpets with me for that emergency in case I absolutely need to heal it up. Okay, let's finally gong and see what we can do. Okay, so there she blows. Let's get a little closer and I will use some beam lasers to burn off some heat. I didn't put any heat sinks on here because it only has 2 utilities, but I do have 2 efficient beam lasers with thermal vent. I used efficient because I needed to compensate for power draw because I used drag drives and I wanted the heat to be a little bit colder. I couldn't get the ship to be under 20, but it is around 20 if I'm just sitting still. Okay, so we pull up to the Titan and you look for the heat vents. Obviously you have to hit them with the laser to make them open up. Once they open up, you shoot the nanite torpedoes in there. You get enough nanite torpedoes in and he opens up the heat vent in the bottom. And I'm by myself in this instant. There isn't anybody else here that I saw, so I'm just going to show you how this worked. I was able to get the heat vent to open and was able to get some shots in on it, and I was able to get away without being too terribly destroyed. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm the best at this because I'm still a rookie, but I was able to get 4 torpedoes into the vents. And I guess that was enough to make the core pop out, because after I got the 4th one and I couldn't get the 5th one, the core popped open. So I went underneath the Titan, and you'll notice still I'm at pretty good hull and my shields are still 100. You did see I was getting shot at for a minute. I get underneath it, and there is the core. And so now I'm going to switch over to my enhanced Cirrus missiles. I guess you could use enhanced regular ones, but I use the Cirrus missiles because I think it has more missiles and I can shoot them more often. So you just started plugging away at this. Now I didn't do a lot of damage because normally there's a bunch more commanders doing this, but I was able to knock it down at least 3 or 4 points of damage. But obviously, if there were more of us, we could do more damage to it. A squad of these little Vipers could probably do a good deal of damage. Anyway, once you get through that and the core goes in, you want to back up and kind of stay right over the center here while he does his electromagnetic pulse, and that keeps you safe. So I'm going to withstand this, and then I'm going to go ahead and get myself out. On the way out, you just speed out, set your destination, and get going. I was able to get out, and I had 1 heat sink left, and I was still in great shape as I went to the carrier. So let's go ahead and take a look at the build. That's what people like to see, so here we go. Starting with the hard points, as I said, I have the AX missile rack from Cirrus. I have the Guardian Nanonite torpedo, 2 beam lasers that are efficient with thermal vent, grade 5. Like I said, I thought this would be a better suit because of the power draw. I'm sure you could put long range on if you wanted to, since it's not running cold anyway. Of course, in utilities, you need the pulse neutralizer and a caustic sink. In this case, I've got the extra ammo so that I have 7. I think that's a necessity. Now for the cores, I put military grade. It's got grade 5 with deep plating, heavy duty. We move on to the power plant. I'm using a low emissions power plant with thermal spread, grade 3, because if you go higher than grade 3, it takes too much power. It reduces it. Then I have dirty drive thrusters, grade 5 with drag drives. Of course, the frame shift drive is going to be extended range, grade 5 deep charge. It still doesn't travel that far, but it's okay. 20, I got a carrier, so that's fine. Life support is a 2D lightweight. Power distributor is charge enhanced, grade 3 with flow control. I could raise that probably. Right now it's at grade 3 and it's giving me plenty of distributor. And then my sensors are D, and I use long range. I considered using wide range, but long range is fine. Now for the optionals. I opted to put 2 grade 3 meta alloy hull reinforcement package in there to help with the caustic damage, to slow it, the hull decrease if I did get caustic. I also put a regular 3D hull with a grade 5 and deep plating. I have a 2C bi-weave that's enhanced low power shields with low draw, again to reduce the power. I was trying really hard to get this cold, and like I said, I got it close, and so it doesn't take much laser to cool it down. And then of course a module reinforcement, and then here's where you could change this. I put a repair limpet and a cargo rack with 2, just so if I did get in trouble I could repair my hull, or if I needed to. You can see here my maximum speed is pretty fast, 567. The jump range is about 20 when it's not full, so around 19. You can see the other specs here that are important, but the main one I think that's the most important is the hull. And when we get to that, you will see the hull is about 1300 and the shield is about 109. Well, that's the tickler, my Viper 3 for killing Titans. You ought to try it. It's a cheap ship, and it'll give you a chance to go out there and get into the game and see if you can get some of those rewards they're giving out, and without risking huge amounts of credits. This is an effective ship, and it's been fun sharing it with you. Fly safe, Commanders. Grappler Man out.